All right.
You can stop eating carrots whenever you guys are ready.
Carrots?
Water polo?
Like as a snack?
I hate carrots.
Welcome back to Hypothetically. I'm Lily Caffrey-Levine.
And I'm Jess Chang.
And today for our final episode, we're going to be breaking down the women's water polo team. They are one of the more successful teams at Marist College, and if you ever watch them play, they are crazy athletic. Water polo is a crazy exciting sport, and if you haven't watched it, do so. It is so fun, it's so entertaining, and the pace is insane. So to start off, just jumping right into it, Jess, who are some of the players that had really great performances that we're not going to get to see follow through since the season was cut short?
So there's a lot of great players to choose from when making this decision, but one person I really need to shout out is Carson Harvest. She was selected as preseason goalkeeper of the year, and flashing back to look at some of her stats from 2019, which was her junior season, she was named first team All-MAC, and she was a 4-time Defensive Player of the Week for the MAC. She recorded 22 saves for a save percentage of .483, along with 24 steals. The goalkeeper blocked a season high of 15 shots each against Iona and Villanova, both being huge MAC contenders for them. In 2020, she appeared in 10 games, starting in 9 out of the 17 that they played. She recorded 56 saves for a save percentage of .415. She blocked a season high of 11 shots against Fresno State, which is ranked 14, and that was in the Rainbow Invitational, and she really showed her stuff there. Going further down the list, I want to also highlight rookie Shania Carrington, who started off really hot so far, and one can only imagine how much further she would have taken this season had it not been ended. So a couple of her stats as she's a freshman this season, she scored 16 goals with a team high of 8 assists so far. She had her season high of 4 goals against number 23 ranked Indiana, and that was in January. She was really impressive in the Rainbow Invitational. She led the team in points with 2 goals and 3 assists against Fresno State, Loyola Marymount, and Hawaii. She grabbed 3 steals on the defensive end for that, so showing that she's a very well-rounded player for them.
Yeah, and those are 2 really awesome performances, but it's just 2 of the several on this team. I think they really have the talent on this team this year to replicate some of the success that they've seen in the past and also push them even further than they had before.
I definitely agree. As I mentioned before, they are a really impressive group of people. The senior class is very impressive. And if we're going to talk record prediction, they had a really short season in conference play. They were only playing 8 games. So with that, I think they would have went 7-1, if not 8-0. Their only real competition was in Wagner, as they were selected 1 in the preseason polls, and Marist was selected 2nd.
Yeah, so the thing with Wagner is that they have been the top competition for Marist for several years now. The big thing with this team is that they're so dominant in the MAC until it comes to the final championship game against Wagner. So let's just skip past the conference play, skip past the playoffs, and just skip to that final championship game. So Marist was off to a 5-12 start this year, which isn't great, but it isn't out of the normal for the really high talent West Coast teams that they play at the start of their season. In 29, they started off 7-10 in their first 17, and they still made a really good MAC run and made it to the finals to play Wagner. The thing about Wagner is they play hard, they play fast, and they play really aggressive. So while Marist has always come really close, they've never been able to just get that extra little push to beat them. To break it down a little bit for the past several seasons, in 2019, Marist lost to Wagner in the final championship game 4-8. 2018, they lost to Wagner in the final 7-10. 2017, they lost to Wagner 7-11. 2016, they lost to Wagner 5-8. 2015, they lost to Wagner 8-10. 2014, they lost to Wagner 7-9, and they beat Villanova in the finals in 2013. After that win against Villanova in 2013, it has been Marist and Wagner in the finals every single year. Marist has always come so close. The biggest gap in goals is 4. So it's always a really close game. They're always so close to that title that they can taste it, but they never get that last push to beat them. However, this has probably been the longest rivalry, longest time coming rivalry in Marist athletics. And to make it worse, it's so close every time. So this is what I see as the worst thing for this team in this season being cut short, is that they were really going to give Wagner a run for their money this year. But like I mentioned, even with the slower start that they had, it still bodes really well for them meeting Wagner in the finals. This year, Wagner had a new head coach. They graduated some of their more aggressive players. And in the meantime, Marist has been recruiting a lot of young talent. They have a lot of really talented players that have been improving over their time at Marist. And so I think Maris was really going to give Wagner a run for their money this year. In the Courtney Fisher Invitational back in February, they lost to Wagner 10-12. I was actually at that game, and you could see how well Maris was keeping up with Wagner. Much better than they had in years past. They went into the fourth quarter in the lead, but even just a little bit of slowing down, Wagner grabs that momentum from them and was able to get those extra goals to beat them in the end. So I think that if Maris was really able to just push through every minute of every quarter of the game and get full momentum the entire time, that they'd be able to beat Wagner. I think they're so close, and I think the pieces were kind of falling into place for them to get that MAC title this year and kind of bring this full circle back from beating Villanova in 2013. So another person who is a big water polo fan and sees how awesome this sport is, to give his take on how he thought the season was going to go, Centerfield Editor-in-Chief Will Bjarnar.
Yeah!
Woo!
Yep.
All right, Will, what is your take on how far this team was going to go this season?
You're not going to introduce me or anything?
I already did.
Oh, you did? All right.
Yeah, before you
Hi.
go.
You want to try that again? Or are we keeping that?
No, just keep it. Just go.
Okay. Take on the team. No, they were not going to win the MAC. That was probably going to be Wagner again. 5-12. They, from my just wildly in-depth research of 8 minutes before I got on this call, they lost every game to a ranked team except for one, and that ranked team was Harvard, and they did it in overtime. So, yeah, tough schedule, but when you're as successful as you are over an extended period of time like this team has been, that tends to happen. You just start to add tougher teams and tougher competition and ranked competition, especially early in the season. I mean, I'm pretty sure, I can look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure they were facing teams within the top 15 in the country for their first 6 or 7 games, and they're just getting eviscerated. So, and that is not necessarily out of the ordinary. That's a low-level team that is pulling in recruits from all over, but they're not, they're not Duke basketball of mid-major water polo, okay?
Yeah, but don't you see that, like, maybe the fact that they've gotten off to these slow starts before, they still end up making it to the finals every time? The way
and who do they lose to in the finals every time?
Well, yeah, but the way I'm starting to see it is nothing matters until the MAC championship game, because it's the same thing every year.
It's true. Because late conference games, especially with this team, they struggle early in the season against this ranked competition, and then, like you said, you get to the MAC tournament and the MAC championship, and they are always there. Yet they're always losing the game. So it's difficult to say whether or not they would have done that this year. I think their start this year is a little bit on the less impressive side or less successful side than it has been in previous years. I know that, they're not a team that typically starts 0-8 or 0-9, whatever they may have done this year. I believe that was the number. But listen, Wagner is just kind of, teams hit an impasse where things just aren't going to continue, and Wagner has just periodically been that impasse. It's not like injuries, it's not slumps, it's not inability to run plays effectively. Which, do you run plays in the water?
You swim plays.
You swim plays. Okay, that's good. She's gonna keep that in because she thinks it was funny.
You all laughed.
No, it's funny. Wagner would have been an impasse yet again. This team, they're so.
All right, so jumping into the Ken Mink Award, the last one of this school year. Jess, who you got?
I'm going to go with Ani. She is the senior on the water polo team. So far this year, she scored 22 goals, 26 points, second most on the team. And I think she's all around really impressive. She won the MAC preseason co-player of the year. I would have really looked forward to see what she would have done. And because of that, because of her talent, I think she should come back for another year.
Yeah, and I had, on that same kind of note, Carolyn Galvin. She recorded 13 goals, 3 assists, and 7 drawn exclusions just in these 17 games from this season alone. She's been a big contributor offensively all 4 seasons she's had at Marist, and I think the team would really benefit from having her back. And she would also maybe want that extra chance at beating Wagner to get the title. All right, Will, you're up.
Yeah, Carson Horvath, not a good year. 41% save percentage, which is fine at the water polo level, I suppose. I mean, it's not soccer.
Out of 17 games, though.
Out of 17 games, too. So it wasn't a full season of play. I believe she only played 9. I could be getting that wrong, though. Can you look that up real quick?
She played in 10, started in 9.
Played in 10, started in 9. That's what it is. 41% save percentage. Again, she needs to rebound, and I think the idea of having that extra year of eligibility to come back, I think, Lily, you asked me to prepare kind of who I thought should come back. I don't see why everyone can't. I mean, I do, because they're bringing in 4 freshmen as of now, and you can't carry over all of those spots, because the beauty of seniors graduating is that you create room and juniors become seniors. But given these circumstances, if you bring somebody like Horvath back to not only improve off of a down year, but also extend her sample size, act as a leader on the team, they're probably going to bring in a goalie recruit. It just makes sense in the long run. And I think that you can never have enough veterans on a roster. I mean, you need young talent, and you need to be able to season that young talent in the long run to move forward. But so especially somebody like Horvath, like I think Ani Mathis is a really good pick as well. But Horvath needs the rebound season, and I think that it just makes sense in the long run.
I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the time in quarantine. I'm going to be really bored now.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been really fun. Keep checking out centerfieldmaris.com for all sorts of different content.
Yeah, man.
Do it.
We'll miss you, fans.
Yeah. All right. Everybody stay safe.
Hypothetically, for next year, just with 2 new hosts.
There we go. All right.
No, we can't, because we should have a season.